Greetings to everyone. Today our group would like to present about two case studies regarding our place of observation, which is Utama Jaya Superstore.
My name is Lee Pek Yen. I would like to present our case study 1, the emotion at Utama Jaya.
My name is Zaidi Yvonne and I'm going to present the second case study, which is mass model at Utama Jaya Superstore.
Based on our observation on 20th and 27th October, there are different emotions experienced by the employee who work in Utama Jaya. First, we observed that the employee who work in ground floor look very unhappy compared to the employee at second floor and third floor. This is because the employee in ground floor need to serve a lot of customers every minute, since the ground floor is selling daily necessity things, while the second floor and third floor is only selling some clothes, electronic products, and kitchen utensils. Therefore, the employee who work in ground floor can be considered experience a high activation negative emotion, since they are always distressed, fearful, and jittery. Besides, we also observe that the employee look very boredom and tiredness when they are doing a same work every day. For instance, the employee need to restock product to empty shelf as their daily routine, and thus we observe that they were not enjoying their work and roll with their tasks. In this condition, they are considered experience a low motivation negative emotions. Now I would like to discuss how the emotion affect to the attitude and behavior. Based on our observation, when the employee are having a negative emotion, their attitude to a customer become very bad. For instance, when we ask the employee who work at ground floor where to find the product that we need, the employee just ignore our query and leaving us our unanswered question. While we also observe that the employee who has a positive emotion will show a positive result in their job performance. For example, we ask the same question to employee who has a positive emotion in second floor. The employee immediately show the right place we found and talk to us with an appropriate level of voice. It's totally different attitude and behavior with the employee who experience a negative emotion. So, we can conclude that the emotion really affect to the attitude and behavior of the employee. Besides, there are many factors can cause emotion to employee. Based on our observation, stress can cause emotion. As we stated before, the employee who work at ground floor need to serve more customers compared to second floor and third floor. Therefore, it causes them are having a stress, especially when they are face a long queue of customers waiting to process the payments. The extent of being very demanding even when processing their payment also cause the employee stress, which in turn affect to their emotions. We also observe that the work overload will affect the emotion of employee. Based on our observation, the employee look like very unhappiness when they need to extend their working time during weekend and public holiday to cater a large number of customers. We also observe that the workplace incivility will influence to the emotion of employee. Based on our observation, a new junior employee look very uncomfortable and fearful when he bullied by a senior employee who always having fun giving unreasonable order to him. In order to manage the emotion, we observe that the employee in Utama Jaya has some way to release their negative emotion. First, based on our observation, the employee withdraw from stressor by voicing out his discontent with the amount of workload he received from the supervisor to transfer to another department which is more suitable to him. Besides, the employee in Utama Jaya manage their negative emotion by creating a positive emotion in workplace. The supervisor plays an important role in order to revealing the emotion of employee. They are very nice in taking care of their subordinate, therefore it will like one big family working together in Utama Jaya. As a conclusion, the emotion of employee in workplace is one of the challenges faced by the manager which can affect to the performance in their job. Therefore, Utama Jaya should formulate program or platform for their employee. Thank you.
Hello, I'm going to present the second case study, which is mass model at Utama Jaya Superstore. What is mass model? Mass model, according to McShane and Von Gilno, is a useful model and a very clear framework to understand people's behavior and how it affects their job performance. There are four elements in mass model. Firstly, motivation, which stand for the M. Ability, which stand for the A. Role perception, which stand for the R. And situational factors, which stand for the S. In this case study, we will be focusing on the observation that we made in Utama Jaya Superstore in terms of the employee behavior, which can be explained through the mass model. The first element in mass model is motivation. In terms of motivation, we observe that the employee in Utama Jaya Superstore are very motivated in performing their respective tasks. We observe that there are two employees working at the drinks department, working together to transfer boxes of newly arrived stock of drink to the display section. Despite being assigned to do their work individually by their superior, but they still work together to finish their tasks early than what they initially expected. This shows that they motivate each other by working together so they can finish their work early and efficiently. They also look satisfied when they are given recognition of power by their supervisor to some position and involved in any decision making in the organization. Other than that, we also observe that the workers in Utama Jaya Superstore are very motivated when their managers give them incentive if they are able to complete their task efficiently. For example, we observe that the supervisor told the employee, since they perform their task very well, they will be given extra leaves. Motivation here represents the force within a person that affect his or her direction, intensity, and persistence of voluntary behavior. In the case of the employees supporting and motivating each other, this observation is supported by prior research of Busmister and Larry, where one person motivates another person, the work will be done more efficiently. While Teen 2011 also explained motivation as an internal psychological forces. This theory can be associated also with the two employees that motivate each other. Chandan 2009 explained that there are two components of motivation, which is intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation. In terms of intrinsic motivation, it can be associated with our observation where the workers are satisfied and motivated when their ability is recognized by the employer. In terms of extrinsic motivation, this theory can be associated by our observation where the employees are motivated to do their work in order to get incentives such as extra leave. Second component of mass model is ability. In terms of ability, we observe that there are some employees which work at the payment counter section have an ability to answer the question that the customer asks. For instance, we saw that when customer asked them whether the product or goods have discount or not, they were able to answer the question confidently. Based on our observation also, there were employees that can do different tasks at the same time. This can be seen when a particular employee was able to perform his task of refilling the stock and at the same time were able to help his fellow colleague. We also observed that there is one situation when one particular customer asked for the size of the shoes. The employee were able to find the size of the shoes in a short period of time. We also observed that the female employees will work at easier department compared to male employees. For instance, the female employees will be assigned to work in the cashiering department, weighing department, while for the male employee, they will work at more difficult department, which is the stock department. Ability here refers to an acquired natural capacity or talents that enables an individual to perform a particular job or task successfully. In the case of training provided by Utama Jaya Superstore to its new employee, this observation is supported by Blank 1976, which say that individuals who invest in a specific type of education training will have a lot of ability in a market. The third element in mass model is role perception. In terms of role perception, we observe that at the ground level of the store, we observe that there one particular employee who works in the weighing section were able to perform his task very well, where without even looking to any list of code, he managed to memorize all the codes to weigh all the products. We also observed that the cashier who works at the payment counter, although they made mistake, but they were still able to perform their task very efficiently. This is proven when there is one particular employee who were able to perform her task efficiently, but at the same time were able to attend to one customer complaint, where the customer complained that the product that he purchased has already expired. The cashier were able to solve the problem when she managed to change the product to a new one. And last but not least, we also observed that the cashier who work at the payment counter section know the procedure of their task very well, where before scanning the product that their customer has purchased, they ask the customer first whether they have the member card or whether they want to pay in cash or use debit or credit card. Role perception here represents the extent to which people understand the job duties assigned or expected to them. In terms of theory, prior research has indicated that the level of perceived expectation is linked with job performance and it will affect their job outcome. This is what exactly we observe in Utama Jaya Superstore. This is proven when the cashier were able to understand their task priority, when although they have to deal with the customer who lodged report complaint to them, but at the same time they were still able to perform their task very well. The fourth and last element in MAS model is situational factors. Inside situational factor, there is one component called organizational policy. Organizational policy is a policy where the employees are assigned to work in certain department where they don't have the power to choose whether they like to work in the department or not. In terms of this, we observe that in Utama Jaya Superstore, especially in the ground level, the employees who works at the ground level show intense behavior because most of the customer in the Utama Jaya Superstore is located in the ground level. So this indirectly caused them to show rude behavior. This observation can be associated with the theory presented by TIN 2011, which state that the inability of the employee to be satisfied with the organizational policy will make the employee unmotivated and indirectly will affect their job performance. The second component of situational factors is social environment. In terms of social environment, we observe that employees who are treated respectfully by their superiors show more positive behavior compared to employees who constantly get yelled at and verbal abuse from the superior. In one section of the ground floor department, we observe that one particular superior keep on giving orders in aggressive manner. This has caused his subordinates to be unmotivated and look annoyed when performing their tasks. This observation can be associated with the theory presented by TIN 2011, where the poor communication among people or weak social network in an organization will affect behavior of employees due to the belongingness needs are not satisfied. In conclusion, from the observation we presented, it can be seen that the MAS model is very suitable to describe the behavior and the performance of the employee in Utama Jaya Superstore, as the model itself provides comprehensive explanation that take into account the motivation, ability, role perception, and situational factors of all the employees. Thus, this model can be very useful to organizations to assess the behavior and the performance of the employees. Thank you.